Ladies and gentlemen, guess what? Oh, that's loud, isn't it? It's really cranked up. It's Friday. Welcome to the Chad Hasty Show. Steve Evans hanging out with you this evening. Attention Deficit Friday. I'm ready to go. Anywhere and all over the place. Multiple digressions shall happen on Attention Deficit Friday. 1-800-687-0790. I'd like to call the show, 806-680-2790. You know the number. If you'd like to text the show, I got blasted early on about the game being on the air. We preempted Clay and Buck. It was the softball game. The Lady Raiders headed to the Big 12 championship. I mean, I think that's important. Myself, sorry. No, we're not. We're not becoming a sports station. That's not happening. That's not what we do here. So, couple of texts. Oh, my goodness. Hopefully we're not going to lose this slot to sports. Oh, no, it's not going to happen. It was just a very special event, a very special softball game. Texas Tech, Lady Raiders. Anyway, good evening. Welcome to the show. Happy to hear from you. I got a load of things. I mean, just all over the board. The shotgun approach to show prep has happened today. I got a lot of stuff, but a lot of breaking news. But what I can tell you is nothing new has happened on the hantavirus story. But yet we're still airing that thing on the 15s on Fox and a few other stations. The cruise ship has docked. There's people got sick. That's it. There's nothing to it. I mean, I can't believe that is dominating the news cycle. Now, here's what is dominating the news cycle. And I will tell on myself today. I didn't work much today, Nick. I went and played golf. Played in a great tournament. And I happened to play with a college student who played with us today. I won't tell you who he is, but he's very tall and he's very athletic and he may be able to snap a football. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say. Great kid. Is our ringer. He's a heck of a golfer. He's got a better career at golf. I don't know how good he is at football, but he's got a great career at golf. Oh, let's see. Another game text. The game was in Monterey. Oh, was that the game that was on Monterey High School girls? I thought we were listening to I listened off and on. Did we air the Monterey High School girls game today? Don't mess with the girls. Okay. We did not air the Lady Raiders did advance, but we didn't air that game. I was confused. I'm sorry, 544. Thank you for correcting me. I thought we had the Lady Raiders game on. I was busy playing golf. I was not listening to what was on. I had the radio going. I was just listening to music. They lost 17-1. Now that's depressing. You could have left that part out. I didn't know they lost. So sorry. I'm a Coronado grad. I mean, it's okay when Monterey loses. It's okay when the Plainsmen don't do well. Doesn't make me sad. Anyway. So playing with and he starts telling me about this kid's a senior, and he's trying to take finals, and he starts telling me about this crash in the whole test taking system. I said, really? It's kind of interesting, and we're talking about it. Well, it's more than just local. It's a nationwide cyber attack that attacked. They're calling it the Canvas attack, the Canvas hack. It has impacted thousands of schools, not just Texas Tech. You got kids, and they've got it back up and going. Let's see. 544. I'm good. They still love me. Okay, thank you. All I knew was, nobody was specific when I come into the studio, fire everything up, and I always check the text line because we get some afternoon texts. We do. We get quite a few people will weigh in throughout the afternoon, so I take a look. See if anything is relevant, and if there's some issues, and we address them. You know, that is the transparency that I like. You know, so anyway, because I was kind of following the Lady Raiders, I assumed that was a game we aired. But anyway, Monterey. But you know, support your local teams, folks. That's all I got to say. That's what we're doing here. Anyway, see, the digressions have begun. Man, I'm feeling so good today. This is a good day. It's a great week. Good day, out with friends, and I'm just feeling pretty good about it. So we're going to bounce all over the place. But I start looking into this cyber attack, this Canvas hack, and it's affected schools all over the country. So the cyber attack shut down an education platform. This is the test-taking platform. I'm assuming that if Texas Tech doesn't use this particular platform, they were in the hack somehow. But it's used by universities and K-12 schools across the United States, and Thursday depriving students and teachers of essential materials at a time when they're making or taking or preparing for final exams. Canvas, the popular cloud-based digital hub for classrooms, has more than 30 million users globally, more than 8,000 institutions as customers. Parent company Instructure says on its website, that's where the information comes from, large public school systems, top universities like Columbia, Princeton, Harvard, and the toppest university of them all, Texas Tech, should have been first on that list. CNN, where I got this article from, they had the best read, by the way. Like, why are you reading stuff from that rag? Well, because sometimes this is not a political thing, right? If it's political tilt, then yeah, you get some variances. But, AP and all of them write, good articles like this, CNN, who just happen to have the best article. So there you go. Before you start blowing me up, I've said that before out loud, I'm reading this off of CNN, and I get so much text hate. How dare you click on that? It's not going to infect your computer to open up an article once in a while from someone, and you get to kind of do a little op research. Anyway, see, there's those digressions. Large public school systems like Texas Tech, I'll rewrite it for you, reported a ransom note signed by Hacking Group had appeared on the homepage of their school's Canvas sites yesterday. The hack came after the group believed to be behind it warned Instructure in a ransom note, pay or leak. That's it. Pay or leak, saying it had accessed data from millions of users, including students, teachers, and staff. FBI has mobilized resources in multiple states to assist victims of the hack. There's victims, I guess. It's just kids couldn't take their tests. Source familiar with the matter told CNN. FBI spokesperson declined to comment. Instructure said that this morning that Canvas was fully back online and available for use. Multiple universities and school districts throughout the county reported their Canvas pages were back up and running today, though some schools had already extended deadlines and changed finals schedules because of the hack. So I will add that there are a few students locally that were a little upset that they didn't get a little bit more information about what was going on, and the system was down for a little while, and they didn't get any extra study time. And I thought it was kind of funny. I know we did a couple of hours. Oh, come on. If you're not ready for your final 2 hours before you're supposed to take your final, when the system, you're not ready for your final. I mean, get over it. Take your test. I'm sure you did fine. Here's what we know, how the Canvas hack unfolded. University of Washington student tried to log on to Canvas around noon yesterday, was greeted by the message from the hacking group Shiny Hunters, who claimed to have breached the platform's parent company, according to a screenshot obtained by CNN. The note, reported by a different student news outlet, demanded ransoms to prevent data leaks from the platform. A student at the University of Pennsylvania said he was logged out of his Canvas account while studying for finals. Professors had to scramble to send class materials in other ways. Universities across the country, including, I'm changing this up a little, Texas Tech, Columbia University, Rutgers, Princeton, Kent State, Harvard, Georgetown, issued statements alerting students impacting institutions nationwide. School districts in California, Florida, Georgia, Oklahoma, all the states. No need to name them all. It's all 50 states. All across the country. I don't know if it's all 50 states, but it was a widespread hack. This was the second school data breach claimed by Shiny Hunters this month. Thursday's ransom note. The group claimed that it hacked Instructure again and faulted the company's response to the previous attack. We didn't get enough attention out of it, so we're going to do it again. Instead of contacting us to resolve it, they ignored us and did some security patches. On May 1st, Instructure said it experienced a cybersecurity incident perpetrated by a criminal threat actor. Doesn't tell you much, does it? The company said the breach had been contained the next day, but usernames, email addresses, student ID numbers, and communications from some institutions appear to have been exposed. They know your grades now. Shiny Hunter claimed in a ransom note shared on May 3rd by Ransomware Live, which tracks ransomware attacks and groups, that it had breached 275 million individuals' data and had access to several billions of private messages. I hope students are not using that system for anything sensitive. Given a May 6th deadline for Instructure to reach out. In a note yesterday, the hacking group gave a May 12th deadline for impacted schools to negotiate a settlement. It's bold. During the Canvas interruption, Instructure said on Thursday it put the platform in maintenance mode as it investigated the issue. Later that night, it announced Canvas would be available again for most users. Pretty good response, honestly, being in and using companies that host big servers like this. It's part of our business. That's pretty quick. I mean, generally attacks like this, especially ransom attacks, and where they lock your system down in exchange for large amounts of money in Bitcoin. For them to get this back online, great backups. As a result, we made a difficult decision to temporarily shut down our free-for-teacher accounts. This gives us the confidence to restore access to Canvas, which is now fully back online, available for use, the company said in a statement. Cyber attacks on education platforms are not new. Software provider Finalsite suffered a ransomware attack in July of 22. The websites of about 5,000 schools were impacted, and it goes on and on. So who is Shiny Hunters? Little is known, which is what usually happens about this hacking group. It's groups, they just sit out there and hack stuff. It's to get money. It's to make money off of. It's a ransomware. We lock you down, and we won't unlock you until you pay us. I've worked with a company that got locked down like this before, and there's actually cybersecurity companies that will come in and they take over and they negotiate the price down. They do a proof of life, a proof of ability to unlock or decrypt what they've encrypted, and then they facilitate buying the Bitcoin and transfer it and all that. But it's a gamble. A lot of companies will come in there, or I don't know. The FBI sometimes will say, "Well, don't pay them." Because if you pay them, then they're just going to keep doing it, and but we need our data back. We need to be back up online. And the backup companies love it because they get to go in and sell backup strategies after that. And you figure out you're not backing up as well as you thought you were, and now all of a sudden the backup companies get this one. What if it's the backup companies doing it? Ooh, the tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. What if it's them doing the ransomware attacks and then coming in and saying, if you had only had our backup service, you would have been able to get back online really fast. Maybe so. I'm not going to name any backup companies because they got a lot more money than I do. The group claimed responsibility for hacking Ticketmaster and attempting to sell the data on the dark web in 24. And then earlier this year, Mandiant, cyber intelligence firm owned by Google, reported an increase in activity consistent with prior Shiny Hunters branded extortion operations. Anyway, this is the great messed up the finals hack of 2026 when everybody's trying to take their finals at Tech. 806-680-2790. We're going to hit the break. Back with more Chad Hasty Show in a moment.
The Titan of Texas Talk Radio, The Chad Hasty Show.
Talking with newsmakers and about the issues that matter to you. The Chad Hasty Show, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Chad's show is also digital with the Chad Hasty Show podcast. The Chad Hasty Show podcast can be downloaded on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and the Radio On Demand page on KFYO.com. The Chad Hasty Show, all across Texas during your drive home, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Local events, newsmakers, and information. It's Sunrise LBK on KFYO.
Coming up on Sunrise LBK on Monday morning, Matt Crow's back in the saddle, and we are going to have Ambassador T. Bornage at 7 o'clock with State of the World.
And we'll have Ryan Hyatt on talking about Tech baseball and Tech softball.
All right, it's all coming up on Sunrise LBK on Monday. Make sure you join us. We're going to have a lot of fun and prize bomb. Yep, prize bomb here, Sunrise LBK on KFYO.
Has anybody told you about Coast to Coast AM tonight?
Coast to Coast is one of those programs that deals with strange mysteries. We'll look at Bigfoot. We'll look at UFOs. We'll look at real science. And we'll also look at conspiracies and what it all means to you, the listeners of Coast to Coast AM.
It's the best in overnight talk radio. Coast to Coast AM.
Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Tonight at midnight on KFYO.
After 98 years, we're still on the air. This is News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO.
Effort here, listeners. 806-6802-790. Let me know you're alive and out there. And this is the only reason we know we're actually broadcasting is when you tell us you're listening out there. No, we have all fancy monitors to tell us. Nick's got a radio in the studio. Turns it up. That's our fancy monitor. That's how we know. We monitor. Now, we never know. We're just listening to the local. We don't know if we're going out in Amarillo, Wichita Falls, and Abilene until we hear from you. So anyway, hey, give us a text. Love to hear from you. If you're a victim of the hack, I can't imagine that most people that would be victim of the hack, unless you're a teacher, would be listening to us today. But you never know. We have a few young listeners that are educating themselves with local talk radio. It's never a bad idea. But if you're a victim of the hack, love to hear from you and how it impacted you. Let's see. I love Fox News. Trump is departing on Marine One. Like we have to see him walk out every time. He's going to walk out. See what kind of suit he's in. It's going to be in a blue suit, folks. I'm going to tell you right now. Okay. Interesting story this morning, and one that I've been watching a little bit, but just because it's you'll figure it out here in a minute. Supreme Court of Virginia strikes down a redistricting amendment and keeps the current maps in place. Groundbreaking ruling upholds lower court's decision and caps months-long legal fight with national implications. Supreme Court of Virginia today struck down the voter-approved redistricting amendment, upholding a lower court ruling that declared the measure unconstitutional less than 24 hours after last week's special election had briefly halted its implementation. Virginia does stuff kind of weird, too. The High Court found that the amendment itself was flawed because lawmakers approved the proposal after voting had already started in the 2025 House of Delegates election, depriving more than 1.3 million Virginians of an opportunity to weigh on the issue when choosing their representatives. The 4-3 ruling, it's close, leaves the state's current congressional districts, which gives Democrats a 6-5 advantage, leaves it in place through 26 midterm election and the rest of the decade, instead of proposed districts that Democrats believed could produce a 10-1 advantage. This does have implications. Let's see. The decision affirms the ruling by Tazewell County judge who blocked the amendment, siding with Republican challengers who argued the General Assembly failed to follow required constitutional procedures. You don't do that stuff at the last minute. In the opinion, the justices said Article 12, Section 1 of Virginia's Constitution requires an intervening general election between the legislature's first and second approvals of a constitutional amendment so voters can evaluate candidates based on their stance and on the proposal. The purpose of Article 12, Section 1 is to give voters opportunity to participate in the process. Why are we restating the whole thing? Of amending their constitution, as one of the justices wrote. The Commonwealth, in this case, ended up denying over 1.3 million Virginians their constitutional right to have a voice in the debate over whether their constitution should be amended. I mean, you don't mess around when amending your state constitution. Seems kind of crazy. Let's see. State senators, blah, blah, blah. The Senate Republican leader, one of the appellees in the case, praised the ruling as a reaffirmation of Virginia's constitutional process. And I'm going to run out of time. I'm going to read this during the break and see if it's worth finishing. It might be. It is a landmark case. It is very, very important to the national election and the midterms. But now, we've got to take a break. Check on news and weather, 806-680-2790. Your text and more when we come back with more Chad Hasty Show. Don't go anywhere.
The Chad Hasty Show, weekdays 5 to 7 p.m. Sound off during the show by sending Chad a text at 806-680-2790.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Nick, this is your phone here in the passenger seat. Look at me.
No, I'm driving.
You got a text. It says, "Yo, dude, your friends are fascinating." Let's text them back.
It can wait.
Sports app. Oh, you gotta see this play.
Later.
Hey, you got invited to a party. We need a RSVP now.
Phone, silence yourself.
Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Talk, text, crash. A message from TxDOT.
TSN headlines. Smokable hemp can again be legally sold in Texas at least through May 17th. The 15th Court of Appeals sided with hemp retailers and reinstated a temporary injunction blocking the new state rules over hemp sales. The Senate runoff race between Senator John Cornyn and AG Ken Paxton is still very close. The latest poll has Paxton with a 3-point lead for the GOP nomination. The president has not weighed in on the race yet, even though the runoff is in 18 days. He told a reporter he planned on making an endorsement maybe relatively soon. Texas A&M University in Dallas is facing another legal demand. The state of Texas has already told the school to shut down because it did not have a certificate of authority. Now Texas A&M sent the school a cease and desist letter. It says Texas A&M name is too close to Texas A&M and students might be confused. Statewide average for a gallon of gasoline $4.08 down a penny overnight. Diesel down 2 cents, $5.13. With your Texas news headlines, I'm Barbara Schwartz.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas, we understand all healthcare journeys have one thing in common. They seldom unfold in a straight line. But there will always be those guides we rely on to help light the way, partnerships that connect us, to help write our own story. And as the most trusted customer-owned health insurer for nearly a century, Blue Cross and Blue Shield has remained community-focused, not publicly traded, grounded in our trusted local presence. So we don't only work for you, we work right here with you. And while we can sometimes feel small in the bigness of things, there's also an entire world of wellness within us all, shining through. So continue confidently down your own path to better health, knowing the wellness of your world is what makes ours turn.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas, a division of Healthcare Service Corporation, a mutual legal reserve company.
Lubbock's South Plains weather forecast on this Friday, TGIF, as temperatures did make the mid-80s this afternoon. It's dropping overnight in the mid-50s by Saturday morning. Saturday, temperatures in the lower 90s, sunshine, wear that sunscreen. A cool front arrives Sunday with high temperatures to lower 80s. Weather is brought to you by Sonic and the Sonic New Refreshers. I'm meteorologist Ron Roberts on Lubbock's official weather station News Talk KFYO.
Financial news on KFYO.
I'm Dan Loney with Your Money Now. Wall Street in the green today, aided by a better-than-expected jobs report. The Dow Industrials up 12 points at 49,609. NASDAQ added 441 points. The S&P 500 gained 62. Both the NASDAQ and S&P 500 posted record closes, with the NASDAQ above 26,000 for the first time ever. People who reside in the state of Georgia will once again receive a surplus tax refund from the state. That amount will be up to $500 depending on your filing status. It is the fourth such refund given out by the state during Governor Brian Kemp's administration due to a budget surplus in state coffers. And ABC has accused the FCC of violating its free speech rights. In a filing with the agency, the network said regulators had a, quote, chilling effect, end quote, on trying to punish political commentary that the Trump administration and the FCC disagreed with. The expectation is that this will lead to a battle in the courts. That's Your Money Now.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Ted Cruz here. Tune in to KFYO every Sunday at 11 for Verdict with Ted Cruz. But stick around for Reason, Religion, and Reality at noon, followed by the best of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, right here on the News and Talk of West Texas. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
The News and Talk of West Texas. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
Hey, welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show. 806-680-2790. The number to reach the show. If you'd like to send us a message. 613 says, wife was a victim of the hack while awaiting test results from Wichita Falls. Hey, thanks for listening. We were about to send out the search party. We didn't know if you guys are out there. It's quiet, you know. The usuals aren't there. We ain't even heard from Hollywood yet. I don't know. Maybe Hollywood's got a Friday night date cooked up. I don't know. Maybe there's going to be like a street fight between him and Ruckus. Maybe stuff didn't get settled down and they took it, they took it offline and maybe it fired up. We haven't heard from either one of them, which is kind of weird. No Hollywood, no Ruckus. So, there might be some like old school behind the bleachers street fight happening tonight. I don't know. I don't want to give odds on either one of them. Both of them, I think, could scrap a little bit. I think so. I don't know. We'll see. One of them will check in a little bit. One of them might check in a little bit and claim victory. Could be. We'll see. I don't know. Ruckus may not be listening. Who knows? Anyway, there's a little bit more in this article while I'm looking at this, and it is important the way this works because this could impact the midterms. Pretty great. It could be a big impact. It's going to be a big impact. Let's see. The chairman of the RNC, Joe Gruters, could be Gruters, I always pronounce it wrong, which had filed an amicus brief in the case, brought a similar challenge, accused the Democrats of trying to redraw Virginia's congressional districts for political advantage ahead of the 26 midterms. They're trying to say we did that in Texas. Democrats just learned that when you try to rig elections, you lose, he said in a statement today. Today, the Virginia Supreme Court sided with the rule of law and struck down the Democrats' unconstitutional maps. He said the RNC led the charge in court against his blatant power grab and accused Democrats of spending more than $66 million in an effort to lock in control and silence voters. Virginia Attorney General Jay Jones criticized the ruling and said the state is still considering its legal options. Today, the Supreme Court of Virginia has chosen to put politics over rule of law. See, that's what he says, and yet the Republicans say we're putting rule of law over politics. See the spin from both sides? It's amazing how polarizing issues like these are. The decision silences the voices of millions of Virginians who cast their ballot in every corner of the Commonwealth. I bet. Oh, let's see. Jones defended the amendment process as timely, constitutionally compliant, and legally sound. Your state constitution didn't, or state Supreme Court didn't think so. Accused the court's Republican-appointed majority of contorting the plain language of the Constitution and Code of Virginia. His office is evaluating every legal pathway, blah, blah, blah. Constitutional law professor, University of Richmond, said an appeal to the Supreme Court of the United States would face significant practical and legal obstacles, particularly this late in the court's term and so close to the 26 elections. Very late in the SCOTUS term, for the Supreme Court justice to give an appeal a full dress treatment, and go completely through it, hear all the arguments, and justices are often reluctant to rule on voting disputes as elections approach, for good reason. Excuse me. I don't have a cough button handy. You just got to listen to all that. Sorry. We'll have that fixed immediately. However, this is an important case. It may be possible that SCOTUS would entertain an appeal. He added the nation's highest court also may be reluctant to second-guess the interpretation of Virginia's Constitution by a 4-3 majority of their state Supreme Court. I think they'll be reluctant, too. I mean, the Supreme Court that is ruled over their own Constitution, then you're going to have the state Supreme Court come in and say you don't get to decide what you do with it. Is that a 10th Amendment issue at that point? I kind of think it is. The court decision comes 12 days after justices heard oral arguments in the case, pressing attorneys on whether lawmakers complied with constitutional requirements, blah, blah, blah. Let's see if there's anything else. The lawsuit was filed October by Republican lawmakers and a member of Virginia's redistricting commission. They argued the legislature overstepped its authority and failed to follow the constitutionally mandated process. If you've got a mandated process on how amendments happen, why would you come in and subvert that? Well, I know why. 10-1 majority, 10-1 advantage for the Democrats is why. We don't cheat. You got caught cheating. No, we don't cheat. Rule of law. No, you're not the party of rule of law. The Republicans are the party of rule of law. Stop stealing our talking points. Let's see. The rest of it is just, my goodness, somebody's earning their stripes on this article here. Let's see. Heated campaigns culminated in the close final margin. The fight over the amendment intensifies in the weeks leading up to the vote. Outside groups backing both sides poured millions of dollars into the campaign in March, flooding voters with ads and mailers. Some of the messaging drew criticism for civil rights era imagery. Both parties expanded outreach efforts as early voting data showed. Strong turnout in Republican-leaning parts of the state, making the final outcome harder to predict. Final days of the campaign, Governor Abigail Spanberger ramped up her public support for the amendment, while former Governor Glenn Youngkin urged voters to reject the member and continue pressing the courts to block the measure. Spanberger said she was disappointed by the ruling, but emphasized that voters will still ultimately decide the balance of political power in the 26 midterm elections. Well, they still have a choice. More than 3 million Virginians cast their ballots in Virginia's redistricting referendum, and the majority of Virginia voters voted to push back against the president, who said he is entitled to more Republican seats in Congress with a temporary and responsive. Here comes that little tilt in the language. With a temporary and responsive referendum. I was looking for it. They made their voices heard. Blah, blah, blah. This is what is happening in Virginia. But it's interesting. So those are all key votes. The midterms are critical. I told you I was going to spend a significant amount of airtime between now in November, really. I mean, right now we're talking about, of course, our primary runoff elections that are happening, and voter turnout's going to be key in some of those races. You need to turn out. We need to have a big turnout for those. But more importantly, we got to have a big turnout in November. All of these efforts are for naught if you don't turn out. The groundwork's laid. You got to turn out and vote. It's going to be critical. Nick, let's go ahead and fire off the break a little early. Not much, but a little early. We'll go ahead and fire off the break. Back to wrap up the hour in just a minute. Texter, it's time for you to step it up. 806-680-2790. Nick is not feeling any love right now because it's just quiet. It's kind of a ghost town here on Attention Deficit Friday on the Chad Hasty Show. Back in a moment.
The Chad Hasty Show can be heard all over West Texas. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Tune into News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO in Lubbock. News Talk 940 in Amarillo. News Talk 94.7 and 1470 KYYW in Abilene. And in Wichita Falls on News Talk 96.3 and 1290. The Chad Hasty Show. Make it a part of your drive home. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
As a parent, you said you'd never give up the convertible. Look, the van even has its own backing. You said you'd never schedule your life around a stuffed animal.
Nobody panic. Bun is still at daycare.
And never put them in harm's way.
I'll be right back, little man. Just gonna pop in the store for diapers.
But never happens. Temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you every time you park the car. Stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is House Call for Health. A cruise ship getting a lot of attention recently because of a deadly outbreak involving hantavirus. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says it's rare and mainly spread by rodents, and that hantaviruses are a family of viruses that can lead to serious illness and death by causing diseases like hantavirus pulmonary syndrome and hemorrhagic fever with renal syndrome. These mostly come from contact with rodent droppings, urine, or saliva, or in rare cases a bite or scratch, though at least one strain of the virus has been able to spread person to person. Hantavirus pulmonary syndrome includes symptoms like fatigue, fever, muscle aches, headaches, dizziness, and abdominal issues. Hemorrhagic fever can include intense headaches, back pain, chills, nausea, blurred vision, and more. There's no specific cure for hantavirus infection. Patients usually need supportive care, including treatment of symptoms, rest and hydration, or for some, breathing support like intubation. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health, I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
The Ben Ferguson Show, Sunday evenings from 6 to 9, right here on KFYO.
Hey, welcome back. 806-680-2790. Love to hear from you. Let's see. A couple of local things to get to. And I'm getting sidetracked by, like, for some reason they just throw alligators up. And I mean, I'm looking at this article and it's interesting. And then there's like this video of alligators fighting each other inside somebody's house. I don't know what they're doing there. And that's more interesting than the article that is surrounded. They chose to just throw that in there. Anyway. Oh, some Attorney General news in Lubbock. Lubbock Independent School District in the news. Attorney General Ken Paxton said he's investigating Lubbock Independent School District and other districts, but this is highlighting this one, to see if they are cooperating with new school legislation. Paxton wants to make sure the district is displaying the 10 Commandments in classrooms, a requirement that comes from Senate Bill 10, which took effect in September. Attorney General is also requesting districts give proof of a board vote on the implementation of Senate Bill 11. That law requires the Board of Trustees to vote on whether to implement a designated time for prayer and reading of the Bible or other religious texts. Lubbock trustees voted that down in February, saying there was already ample time for students to pray or read and no designated time was necessary. It was a vote that's people pretty unhappy. they did release a statement on this issue and said, Lubbock Independent School District is aware of the press release published by the Office of the Attorney General in reference to Texas school districts' compliance with SB 10 and 11, which were passed during the 89th legislative session. In its press release, the OAG provided a list of several school districts that they state are currently under investigation. At this time, the Lubbock Independent School District has not been notified and is not otherwise aware of any investigation regarding the district's compliance with these laws. In compliance with SB 10, Lubbock has displayed donated copies of the 10 Commandments in its classrooms. I guess if you know of a classroom that doesn't have one, that could be a problem. The district has also complied with SB 11 as the district's Board of Trustees took a record vote on the implementation of SB 11 during its February 2026 board meeting pursuant to the new law. So I haven't read that bill in its entirety, but I'm assuming that it just requires them to take a vote. Does it? On whether to implement it. But I don't think it necessarily requires them to implement it, just to take a vote on it. I need to check on that and make sure. But they say they're unaware of any investigation. However, the Attorney General said he is investigating Lubbock Independent School District. So we'll see if anything comes out of that. It's interesting that the Attorney General did make a visit to Lubbock, and that may have prompted the statement. It's, well, while I'm in Lubbock, I'm going to say I'm investigating Lubbock, and while I'm somewhere else, I'm investigating somewhere else. But he said he is investigating other districts. I'm sure there will be more to come on that. Let's see. What can we get into here? This is silly. The Texas Tech students, and I believe faculty were involved, hold a mock funeral for academic freedom. Yeah, it's definitely faculty out there with it. I'm seeing some pictures of it. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's a hearse, like an old buggy-style horse, horse-drawn hearse. People dressed up, it's the weird people of Texas Tech. That's what you are, the weird people. They're not happy with the chancellor. Signs calling him coward, rest in peace, critical thinking. Our school is gone. And they got like a pretty good horse-drawn carriage. It's an old horse-drawn hearse. Where they found this thing? It's got the glass and the curtains and the works. Looks like a guy dressed in what might be Amish attire. It's all black. Is driving the hearse. They went all out on this one. Some students and faculty held the mock funeral outside the Texas Tech University System building on Thursday, saying that academic freedom was murdered. He's murdered it, that evil chancellor. The protest was ahead of Texas Tech University System Board of Regents meeting. The board, alongside Chancellor Creighton, approved course restrictions earlier this year. These are not issues that are fringe or frivolous, as the chancellor wants us to think. These are issues relevant to many different fields of study, from biology, physiology, and social work. It is important we learn to work with diverse people in order to be career ready, said Tara Finley, a Texas Tech student and organizer of the protest. Career readiness is something Creighton says he's focused on, calling it a duty to ensure coursework is aligned with long-term student success. Not a vacation, it's an education. Working with CEOs and working with the expectations of the private sector, working to closely align the expectations of those that will be hiring students direct from this campus very soon after they graduate. I think that we are very much in line with those expectations there, the chancellor said. Some students disagree because they want gender studies and all the other garbage that has infiltrated their curriculum, worrying employers will not view Texas Tech degree as a well-rounded education. I don't think that's the case. I think you're a little misguided. I don't think that they're going through at your degree and actually looking at the course of study and saying, oh my goodness, you're missing education on DEI and gender studies and all the other garbage that has nothing to do with your degree, the validity of our degree. And oh my goodness, this is the thing that doesn't make any sense to me. Were the courses easier? Did they make them harder all of a sudden, and now marginal students aren't going to pass because we're actually teaching real, genuine things in those degree programs? or is it just something to be outraged about? Those faculty that were out there, I mean, they're probably all tenured and their jobs are all safe. I would be looking at them as the first step in a long list of people to dismiss, possibly. The validity of our degrees is going to be very much diminished when it comes to job opportunities and stuff like that. You're not going to go try to get a job. Come on. An employer is going to look at a Texas Tech degree and be like, oh, these people were taught with these regulations and these censorships and stuff, and I'm just not going to go with someone who's well-rounded and able to speak and be open-minded about these things. Come on. This is Maddox Gillen, Texas Tech student and co-founder of Raiders Against Censorship. Students and staff at the protest said they feel their voices aren't being heard by the university system. Chancellor Creighton, though, says they are. We're not looking for 100% ratification and validation. What's important to us is people feel heard. That's what makes the world go round. The best part of what Texas Tech has to offer, and we're fully supportive of the right to speak and bring horse-drawn hearses to campus. It really is kind of impressive, though. Creighton said diversity is alive and well across the system, adding that even if courses cannot discuss certain topics, students will still be exposed to varying views through their interactions outside of the classroom, i.e., where they have free speech at. We have one of the most diverse campuses in America. We can walk across our campuses and see that immediately. So that diversity, along with diversity viewpoint, is alive and well and thriving across the Texas Tech University system here on the Texas Tech campus in Lubbock. Chancellor's office noted that less than 3% of courses required revision. 3%. 3% drew a horse-drawn hearse to the campus. It's kind of neat. I mean, good-looking horses pulling this thing. It's the Chad Hasty Show on the Texas Town Square Media Network. That'll wrap up hour one of a Friday, Attention Deficit Friday edition. Time for news and weather. See you in a few minutes.
The Chad Hasty Show, a presentation of Texas Town Square Media Network. The views and opinions expressed during the Chad Hasty Show are not necessarily the views of this station's staff, management, advertisers, or Town Square Media.
Add the KFYO text line to your contacts and voice your opinion during our local shows. 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. News Talk 95.1 and 790. And on the KFYO app.
Fox News Rundown. Saturday mornings at 6 on News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM. KFYO.
We're not just background noise, we're the main event because your time matters, your community matters. News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 AM. KFYO Lubbock. It's 6 o'clock.
Waiting on word. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. No response yet from Iran on the latest peace proposal from the U.S.
They have no military. They have not a lot left. We'll see what happens.
President Trump just moments ago, as he departed for Virginia, he said he's expecting a response from Iran soon.
Iran's foreign minister is saying that the Iranians will not bow to U.S. pressure as the U.S. continues to enforce its military blockade on Iranian ports.
Fox's Chad Hasty at the White House. This comes as U.S. Central Command says the U.S. has disabled a total of 4 Iranian tankers in and around the Strait of Hormuz. On the 3-day ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine, the president said he'd like a longer-term peace deal.
It's the worst thing since World War II in terms of life. 25,000 young soldiers every month. It's crazy.
Part of the deal also calls for an exchange of prisoners, something Ukraine's President Zelensky said shaped his decision on the ceasefire. Virginia's Supreme Court rules its voter-approved redistricting plan violated the state constitution.
Virginia State Supreme Court found Democratic lawmakers violated the state's demand that they take 2 votes in 2 separate sessions of the General Assembly before submitting a constitutional amendment to voters. They say that was not done in this case. The justices wrote the violation irreparably undermines the integrity of the resulting referendum vote and renders it null and void. Virginia had redrawn their congressional map, so Democrats were favored in 4 additional seats, bringing the total of left-leaning seats in the state to 10, leaving Republicans just 1. Without those seats in the redistricting wars, Republicans are left with a much higher advantage.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. U.S. Customs and Border Protection has canceled the visas of more than 24 people, including some who worked on a Disney Cruise Line ship, amid allegations they possessed or had viewed images of child sexual abuse. America is listening to Fox News.
local events, newsmakers, and information. It's Sunrise LBK on KFYO.
Coming up on Sunrise LBK on Monday morning, Macro's back in the saddle, and we are going to have Ambassador Tibor Naj at 7 o'clock with State of the World.
And we'll have Ryan Hyatt on talking about Tech baseball and Tech softball.
All right, it's all coming up on Sunrise LBK on Monday. Make sure you join us. We're going to have a lot of fun and prize bomb. Yep, prize bomb here, Sunrise LBK on KFYO.
Sunrise LBK, weekday mornings from 6 to 8:30. News Talk, KFYO.
Mix up Plains weather forecast on this Friday, TGIF, as temperatures did make the mid-80s this afternoon. It's dropping overnight in the mid-50s by Saturday morning. Saturday, temperatures in the lower 90s, sunshine, wear that sunscreen. A cool front arrives Sunday with high temperatures lower 80s. Weather is brought to you by Sonic and the Sonic New Refreshers. I'm meteorologist Ron Roberts on Lubbock's official weather station News Talk KFYO.
Hey, welcome back to Hour 2 of the Chad Hasty Show. Steve Evans hanging out with you on this Friday. Attention Deficit Friday. Beautiful Friday afternoon into evening. 806-680-2790. Number 2, text the show. Nick wants you to know that the next 10 texters that text in 806-680-2790 will be the next 10 texters. And the first 10 texters of the hour. Absolutely. Fact. I mean, he's correct in this. He's agreeing with me. He's shaking his head. He's agreeing with me. Trump had a blue suit on, by the way. It's much like the color of your sweater, sir. Had his stereotypical blue. I have a Trump suit. It's Trump blue. I mean, that's what they call it. You can order a Trump blue suit. Had his blue suit and red tie on. The typical... very typical look of the president. Checking in weather real quick. I know we just had our weather brief, but looking at the radar and nothing really out there except you folks up north of Wichita Falls, Lawton area, some storm activity over there. But we do have a cold front kind of coming down. It's south of Amarillo. You're probably already feeling some of the winds shift up there in Amarillo. A little cooler temperature. Still 90 degrees here in Lubbock, 83 up there, 81 degrees down in Abilene, 90 in Lubbock, and starting to get colder around the DFW metro. So that cold front's going to move down south of Lubbock overnight. And then we have all of the interesting stuff that happens behind it. But no significant weather happening as we take our top of the hour look at my fancy radar program here that I'm taking a look at. But anyway, always keeping an eye on the weather. 806-680-2790. Let's see. I had a couple of things I wanted to do, but I want to do this first. Let me bring up a statement, a very good one. And now I've lost it. I've clicked the wrong thing. Here it is. Bringing it up. This is there is if you're on the mailing list, the email list from Congressman Jody Arrington, he does his updates called The Alarm, and he'll put them out. He'll put them out on X, Instagram, Facebook, email. He gets them out there. But he did an interesting tribute in this edition of The Alarm, remembering Chad Hasty. It says, "My heart is heavy with grief over the passing of my friend Chad Hasty. Chad was a consummate professional, a man of faith, and a true patriot. We had a lot of interviews over the last 10 years, and I could always count on him to be fair, insightful, and just down to earth. He often spoke of his family, which were the love of his life. I'll miss him dearly. He was more than just a radio personality and political pundit. He was a dear friend." Words from Congressman Chad Hasty. Interestingly enough, too, if he puts, there's links embedded in the pictures, and if you click the link of he and Chad Hasty, it opens up the website AmericaReadsTheBible.com. I just thought that was pretty interesting. By accident, I clicked the picture, and it popped up the website. So he's got that embedded in the link. I don't know if that was deliberate, but it was quite interesting. But a great picture. I don't know. Ken Corbin could tell us where this is at, and if he's listening, he can tell me. I don't remember if it was in D.C. I think you're in the picture, Ken. You may be sitting next to him, but an interview with Chad and the congressman. I think it was maybe a D.C. trip that he posted that in. But the congressman. Congressman Arrington is. I was just coming in. Was the incoming Lubbock County Republican Party chair when Congressman Arrington was elected. Been together a long time. He had a great run. He was really never going to do more than 10. He was never going to do more than 8. He gave us 10 good years, and he was always early on. I interviewed him on Chad's morning show on KFYO, and he was on record from the get-go saying he supported term limits. Absolutely, he really didn't see himself doing more than 8. He held that. I heard him say it multiple times in speeches, and not just in Lubbock, and not just. I've heard him speak all over the place. I've heard him speak in D.C., and he's maintained that he believed in term limits, and so we got 10 good years out of him. But a lot of interviews, both in person, in studio, on the phone. He came in to the Southwest studio on numerous occasions, and did interviews here with us when I was filling in for Chad. And when I called him right after we got the news, it was probably the wrong time, but he was decimated to learn the news. And so appreciate him putting that in his alarm, the update from Jody, but a lot of other good things. He's got some information about the Texas Republicans Unite Behind His Border resolution. I'm not going to go into those, but there is an update on the Farm Bill that I wanted to bring you quickly out of his update. Last year, I was proud to help deliver historic wins for American agriculture through the passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill. It did have some pretty strong agricultural investments, $66 billion in investments, boosting reference prices and crop insurance, promoting trade, and securing some SNAP reforms, long overdue SNAP reforms. I want to pause right there to remind everyone that when we look at the Farm Bill, everyone thinks, man, it's this great, big, massive, expensive bill, and man, those farmers must be doing well. A small percentage, and I don't have the breakdown in front of me, but a small percentage is actually farm related. It's agriculture related. It's related to subsidies and assistance and insurance programs and crop insurance programs and things like that actually protect the farmer, protect our food, protect our crops. Very little. Most of it is food stamps. And I've long asked the congressman and anyone who'll listen to me, what is it going to take to separate that out? To just say, this is the food stamp bill, the SNAP bill, and this is actually the Farm Bill. Because too often we get Democrats and those that are in opposition to the Farm Bill, which is strange because they're not in opposition to it when they're wanting to raise food stamp benefits. Oh, that's when the Farm Bill needs to increase. When they're opposed to it is when increases in the Farm Bill are going to go to actually farming, to actual agriculture, to help farmers. And then the Democrat narrative is, oh, it's just too expensive. Look at everything the farmers are getting. The attempt is to confuse people and hide the fact that it contains food stamps in the bill. It needs to be separate. I don't know what it's going to take to separate it, but every time I bring it up, I get told, hey, you'll never get that done. That is a big, massive political tool, if you will, that goes back and forth, and the Democrats love to use it when they're getting their way and they're increasing SNAP benefits. And I love the reforms. There's a long list of things that it did to modify SNAP and the way it works, but they love to use those talking points when they're trying to increase SNAP benefits. Oh, the Farm Bill, we need to strengthen the Farm Bill. We got, but wait a minute. When we come along and start modifying that thing and say we're going to put some extra farm subsidies, we're going to come in and help areas that are hit hardest, and I'll tell you how the state of Texas is doing it here in a little bit, if I can get that pulled up during the break. But that's when the farm bill's too expensive. Oh, my good, the evil farm bill. Those farmers taking all this. I'll tell you, it's all food stamps, folks, most of it. And I'm in that business. This year's Farm Bill authorizes the remaining agriculture programs not included in reconciliation and advances key priorities I fought for on behalf of West Texas producers, including my legislation to give farmers a stronger voice in pesticide decisions and a pilot crop insurance program designed to incentivize producers to bring their cotton to harvest, not just turn it under. The bill also strengthens trade promotions, supports beginning farmers, invest in conservation and precision agriculture, continues to hold states accountable for SNAP mismanagement. See, again, we're talking about food stamps while we're talking about the Farm Bill. For years, Democrats held our farmers hostage in order to protect bloated and broken welfare programs. Republicans changed that equation by securing the core agriculture reforms last year through reconciliation. Removed the political leverage that had blocked meaningful Farm Bill reforms for far too long and delivered real results for rural America. West Texas producers deserve certainty. The Farm Bill should be focused on farmers, ranchers, and the farm economy, not unchecked welfare spending. It's exactly what House Republicans are delivering through these historic reforms. Sadly, it's not complete separation of SNAP and the Farm Bill. But I don't know. I would love to hear someone start. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about separating the two. I would love to hear them do it. Let's separate it. You'd be surprised how little actually goes to farming. You really would. I'll get the actual numbers here one of these days when I think about it, and we'll talk about that for sure. But great memorial for Chad Hasty, Congressman. Thank you so much for putting that in your update. You can go to Congressman Arrington's campaign page, and I think you can get on that mailing list to get the alarm. It's usually got pretty good updates. I'm scrolling down to the bottom here to see if there's a join link. I don't know. I'm subscribed to it. But you can visit his website, if this link works, at jodyarrington.com and get on that sign up for those email updates. I'm hoping that the next Texas 19 congressman will continue that process because it's been really informative. All right, we'll take the break. Got a few more things. Got some creepy stuff. Make Your Skin Crawl article coming up after the break right here on the Chad Hasty Show. 806-680-2790, the number to text the show. Back in a moment.
The Titan of Texas Talk Radio, The Chad Hasty Show.
Talking with newsmakers and about the issues that matter to you. The Chad Hasty Show, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Chad's show is also digital with the Chad Hasty Show podcast. The Chad Hasty Show podcast can be downloaded on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and the Radio On Demand page on KFYO.com. The Chad Hasty Show, all across Texas during your drive home, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
When you see a car that's been in a bad crash, it's no accident. When it backs traffic up for miles, no accident. And if there's a fatality involved, somebody died. That's no accident either. A lot of the time, it was speeding. And it's no accident that speeding is a factor in more than 150,000 crashes every year in Texas, many of them fatal. So slow down, be safe, drive smart. A message from TxDOT.
Live local talk on Sundays. Reason, Religion, and Reality. A radio project of the Constitutionalist Society, LLC. Reason, Religion, and Reality brings you a panel of constitutionally minded, liberty-loving patriots covering topics from Supreme Court decisions, government actions including curriculum in schools, and attacks on the church. Catch the shows Sunday noon to 2 on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO. Listen online at KFYO.com or on the KFYO app. Reason, Religion, and Reality.
Bill Cunningham here, The Great American, every Sunday night with guest commentaries, phone calls, and more. We expose political obfuscation, ridiculous immigration policies, and absurd government spending that causes more problems than it solves. The Great American Experiment continues as we fight like warrior poets for the soul of this great country of ours. Be part of this action every Sunday night with The Great American, Bill Cunningham.
Bill Cunningham, Sunday nights at 9 on News Talk KFYO.
After 98 years, we're still on the air. This is News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO.
Hey, welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show, 806-680-2790. If you'd like to send a message, love to hear from you on this Attention Deficit Friday. Again, 806-680-2790. Now, this story's, it's creepy. I'm going to bring it to you, and I was a little bit reluctant. Embarrassing things like this that happen to us locally, sometimes, I don't know, but it's news and it's newsworthy, and we can talk about it here for a second. This says out of a court document, former Friendship ISD aide, this is out of Lubbock, admits to acting inappropriately with a student. My goodness. A now former Friendship ISD special education aide has been special education aide. This is what really bothers me when I first read this. The part that really got to me. Special education students, some of them have a hard time saying something wrong happened here. He's charged with a state jail felony of voyeurism. Documents obtained this afternoon show Tanae Harrell admitted to acting inappropriately with a 7-year-old student at Legacy Elementary, according to an affidavit from the Friendship Independent School District Police Department on April 29th, and we're just hearing about it now. Harrell made lewd comments about a student's physical appearance. Then, according to court records, she pulled up the girl's shirt and turned the student toward another staff member. The affidavit states 4 staff members witnessed the incident. This is the beacon of stupidity. It was also captured on a classroom security video. She's cooked. When speaking with investigators, Howell reportedly admitted to the crime. The parents are furious. When administrators learned of the incident Monday, Harrell was removed from the classroom and placed on leave while district police investigated. The district reports, Harrell was fired yesterday and then arrested last night. As noted in the statement below, I'll read to you in a second, Friendship ISD reported notified families who have a student in the classroom, everybody that had any interaction with this aide. District calls the reported behavior unacceptable, yes, and stresses student safety as a top priority. Shouldn't ever happen in the first place. District is offering extra support counseling. Here's the statement. Late last night, Tanae Harrell, a former Legacy Elementary special education aide, was arrested and charged with voyeurism based on a Friendship Police Department investigation. On May 7th, prior to arrest, she was terminated and is no longer with the district. It's like if you fall off a ladder, you're fired 5 seconds before you hit the ground kind of thing. You're fired. You're arrested. On Monday, May 4th, Friendship received reports of an incident allegedly occurred on April 29th. Immediately, Harrell was removed from the classroom and put on leave while our Friendship police investigated the reports. We contacted the family of the student involved, and once we had more information, we notified all the parents who have students in that classroom of the active investigation. Based on that investigation, Friendship police presented charges to the Lubbock County District Attorney's Office. Harrell was arrested late Thursday night and booked into the Lubbock County Jail this morning. We legally cannot discuss the details of the criminal investigation. Felt it's important to let our parents, staff, and community know about the investigation and arrest. Reported behavior such as this is unacceptable, deep and concerning, and goes against everything Friendship Independent School District stands for. Creating a safe learning environment for students is top priority. We take these investigations seriously. We've made additional resources available for students. Parents continue to support our families. Oh, my goodness. This was just, I don't know. I'm not gonna crack on Friendship Independent School District too much. But I don't know what the qualifications to be an aide are. I'm assuming not the same as a teacher, but I'm assuming the same background checks. Is this, nothing about this is innocent. Touching a student's not innocent to begin with. It's interesting that it's voyeurism. I thought that was a much different charge, but that's what she's been charged with. But I don't know. This is it's unfortunate, and the only reason I bring it to you is just because this has gotten national attention already. You're going to hear about it sooner or later, and then I'm sure we'll hear about it as that case moves on. But anyway, I like those uncomfortable stories. Sometimes I just like, maybe I don't want to do that, but got to bring them to you. All right, let's see what else we can get into. It's just too heavy. It's too heavy for the 3 minutes that we have. Now, I was looking. I want to shift out into. I've got some state news on a couple of things I was going to bring you yesterday, but I've got my national stack and my world stack, and I was looking for updates on what's going on in Iran, the Straits of Hormuz, tankers being fired on, and I've got a little bit we'll talk about here when we come back. But what's interesting is in the right-hand column of that is like 6 hantavirus stories. I mean, what's happening here? This is always interesting to me when we focus on something, and it's. I guarantee you, it's somebody trying. As I said before, it may have been yesterday or day before. It's somebody trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. But there is it's really getting a lot of coverage. There's a hantavirus, the first fatality. It's like, stop trying to paint this thing as the next great pandemic. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. It's not airborne. Don't listen to them if they start saying you should probably mask up for fear of hantavirus. If anything, you should go buy. I wonder if this has helped to sell the mousetraps. I really do. Are all the stores getting raided, the farm supply stores, and then people looking for the big rat traps and the mouse traps? Oh, my goodness. Hantavirus is on us. We got to get rid of all the mice. I don't know. Maybe this was cooked up by the mousetrap manufacturing company. I don't know. We're gonna have some. We're gonna plant hantavirus on a cruise ship. I've actually had people reach out to me. How did hantavirus get on a cruise ship? Well, there are rats on cruise ships, folks. There are. How do they get on there? Well, it's very interesting. They come in the food. Sometimes they're packed in the pallets, big pallets. They don't unload them, and sometimes as they're unpacking these, a rat will come flying out. It happens. They can't catch the rat. Also, when they tie up their mooring lines, there are rat guards, big discs that they put on the mooring lines, and if they forget to do it, rats come down the mooring lines. I've seen them do it. I've seen them crawl down the lines on the destroyer. We had rat guards on there, and if anybody, I had our sister ship, a friend of mine was on, they'd forgotten to put the rat guards on overnight. When they were just tying up overnight, they didn't put them on. They had rats all over that boat. They were running around with CO2 fire extinguishers, freezing them, throwing them overboard. This is how they get on the boats. Very much a real thing. More on that when we come back. We'll take a look at the Iranian story and a few others as we wrap up Friday here on the Chad Hasty Show. News and weather. I'll be right back.
The Chad Hasty Show, weekdays 5 to 7 p.m. Sound off during the show by sending Chad a text at 806-680-2790.
Pedal to the metal. Greased lightning. Burn rubber. Make tracks. Full gas. Whatever you call it, it's speeding. And a heavy foot can cost you a heavy fine. Or more. Speeding is a factor in more than 150,000 crashes every year in Texas. Many of them fatal. Slow down, be safe, drive smart, and take it easy. A message from the Texas Department of Transportation.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
TSN Headlines
Smokable hemp can again be legally sold in Texas at least through May 17th following a court order. The Senate runoff race between John Cornyn and Ken Paxton is still close in the polls. The latest poll has Paxton with a 3-point lead for the Republican nomination. President Trump has yet to weigh in on the race, even though the runoff is only in 18 days. New graduates at Texas A&M University dodged a bullet caused by the worldwide cyber attack of software called Canvas that is used by students and faculty. Texas University in Dallas is facing another legal demand. The state has already told the school to shut down because it did not have what they call a certificate of authority. And now Texas A&M has sent the school a cease and desist letter. It says Texas A&M is too close to Texas A&M and students could be confused. Statewide average for a gallon of gasoline is $4.08, down a penny overnight. Diesel down 2 cents, $5.13. With your Texas news headlines, I'm Barbara Schwartz.
You're losing your hair, and you need a simple solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology with top-rated physicians. Something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need advanced hair. They've completely redefined hair restoration, from the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair? Address them all with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment in a calm, relaxed environment with the most experienced professionals. Advanced Hair has performed tens of thousands of these breakthrough treatments. And get this, your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day. No one can offer anything like the Advanced FUE found at Advanced Hair, and I highly recommend their team. It starts with your free consultation. Call 469-599-HAIR. If you qualify, you'll also get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that's redefined hair restoration. 469-599-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
Lubbock's Up Plains weather forecast on this Friday, TGIF, as temperatures did make the mid-80s this afternoon. It's dropping overnight in the mid-50s by Saturday morning. Saturday, temperatures in the lower 90s, sunshine, wear that sunscreen. A cool front arrives Sunday with high temperatures in the lower 80s. Weather is brought to you by Sonic and the Sonic New Refreshers. I'm meteorologist Ron Roberts on Lubbock's official weather station News Talk KFYO.
From the heart of the hub city to the wide open skies of West Texas, KFYO keeps you connected to the stories, the voices, and the conversations that matter most. This is the news and talk of West Texas. News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO.
This is House Call for Health. A cruise ship getting a lot of attention recently because of a deadly outbreak involving hantavirus. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says it's rare and mainly spread by rodents, and that hantaviruses are a family of viruses that can lead to serious illness and death by causing diseases like hantavirus pulmonary syndrome and hemorrhagic fever with renal syndrome. These mostly come from contact with rodent droppings, urine, or saliva, or in rare cases a bite or scratch, though at least one strain of the virus has been able to spread person to person. Hantavirus pulmonary syndrome includes symptoms like fatigue, fever, muscle aches, headaches, dizziness, and abdominal issues. Hemorrhagic fever can include intense headaches, back pain, chills, nausea, blurred vision, and more. There's no specific cure for hantavirus infection. Patients usually need supportive care, including treatment of symptoms, rest and hydration, or for some, breathing support like intubation. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Empowering West Texas with news that matters. News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 AM KFYO.
Welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show. 806-680-2790. Eric says, Steve, can't we just let the Dems and the lefties keep on with the masks and tell them that it's sexy? It's so funny because it didn't like my break music wasn't I'm sexy and I know it just play. And I'm reading this and thinking that's fantastic. We'll play that song to them. He says we need to cheer on their ignorance. Oh, maybe so. So in a lot of random things happened during the break. I was talking to Nick about doing the show while on a treadmill. He doesn't think this is a good idea. He's afraid I'll just be too winded, need to take a lot of breaks. I don't know. I feel like I should try it. I've got this really neat walking desk treadmill set up. I think I might put in the Southwest studio. You might hear a treadmill in the background. I'm worried that I might get winded, though. That's what Nick is worried about. Or what if I just give out and fall over? I don't know. Can't do it. The pace is too much. I don't know. We'll walk. I was some friends today were talking about, I'm going to go do this run, 600 meter run. But I'm like, you're naming off a whole lot of things that I don't do. I don't run. I've never been a runner. Never been a runner. Only when I had to. Only when it was we had to do our annual quals, our fitness quals in the Navy. I would run. There's a lot of guys. You have more time to do the run when you get older, and you'd see guys like they could walk it. They would in a brisk pace. And now the rest of us younger guys had to run it. That's the only time I actually ran. Running is not my thing. Now, strap on a rucksack and hike or ruck or march 6-7 miles. I can do that. So walking might not be a bad deal. We might try that. I feel like we need to. Maybe we'll just do like listener walking Wednesdays where you all have to be on. Maybe you have to send in pictures of yourself walking while listening to the show. Maybe we'll do that. 292 says, doing a good job. I farm in Hill County, and I heard your part on conversation on the Farm Bill. It may have changed. 80% of the Farm Bill goes towards funding the SNAP program. That equates to $100 billion annually. Thanks, James in Plainview. I wasn't sure the percentages have changed a little bit from the reform, but yeah, it's been along those lines for a long time. James knows. He's farming. He's utilizing the Farm Bill. 80% fund SNAP. It's not the Farm Bill. Not to rehash here and go back, but thanks for the text, James. It's good to hear from people that actually get impacted by this. It should just be called, the food stamp bill, the SNAP bill. Call it that. It's not the Farm Bill. It's like, well, it's because farmers have food, and food supplies go to welfare programs sometimes. So we'll call it I don't know how it came out, what the history of it is, but it just seems kind of silly to me. So we might do a treadmill show, but I feel like we need to take some donations and get Nick a treadmill, and so he can walk with us. We'll have a whole walking, everybody get healthy kind of thing, Nick. He's turning his nose up. He's like, I'm not doing that. We'll all walk. Nick can produce the show. He can fly the ship and walk. I'll walk while we're doing the show. Don't even start that. He says, like Michelle Obama. That's not a Michelle Obama thing. Don't even go down that road. But we'll walk, and then listeners, Hollywood on a treadmill sounds hilarious. It sounds like that would be entertaining. And then we'll have to take all those pictures and post them up on X or somewhere if you send them in. And then Ruckus will get on, and he'll try to outwalk Hollywood. That will be, it's like the silent feud. It's like, the quiet fight. I can walk faster than you. I can walk faster and longer than you can, Hollywood. That's how we'll rekindle the feud, the walking segment. So I'm going to, as I'm looking at this, also, I'm never going to get to this Iranian thing because the rest of it's just hilarious. The picture, the caption that they put on it, I was about to pull this article up, is out of the AP. And I'm going to try to get to it before we wrap up the evening. It's a couple, I don't know, it looks like an older couple, from best I can tell, in a rowboat, and they're rowing around in the Straits of Hormuz, and there's tankers in the background, and the caption is U.S. fires and disables 2 more Iranian tankers. Tensions are on the rise. Drive-by says Nick will have to take off the card again if he starts walking, so he won't do that. Oh, he disagrees. He can walk like Michelle Obama with the best of you. All right, let me see if I can. Let's do this Iranian story. I was looking at this yesterday, but it's out of Dubai, the UAE. Armed forces fired on and disabled 2 Iranian oil tankers on Friday after exchanging fire with Iranian forces in the Straits of Hormuz overnight. And there's another one I looked at. If I can tie it together, if we don't run out of time, the fleet out there is aging, and now they're having some oil spills and some problems in the Straits. The United Arab Emirates, meanwhile, reported on another Iranian missile and drone attack. The attacks cast more doubt on a tenuous mouth-old ceasefire that the United States, or month-old, it really does say mouth-old. I read it that way, tenuous month-old ceasefire that the United States has insisted is still in effect. Washington is awaiting an Iranian response to its latest proposal for a deal to end the war, reopen the strait, and roll back Tehran's disputed nuclear program. I hope, and Marco Rubio has indicated that the deals that they keep offering are not enough. It has to be a nuclear program agreement, and I think it does. We cannot allow Iran to continue to develop its nuclear program. We just can't. Secretary of State said he hopes to receive a serious offer from Iran later Friday. U.S. military said Friday its forces had disabled 2 Iranian tankers that were trying to breach an American blockade of Iran's ports. Hours earlier, the military said it thwarted attacks on 3 Navy ships and struck Iranian military facilities in the strait. Iran has mostly blocked the critical waterway for global energy since the United States and Israel launched the war on February 28th, causing a global spike in food prices and fuel prices, rattling the world markets. The U.S. has imposed its own blockade of Iran's ports. The UAE's defense ministry, meanwhile, said 3 people were wounded after an air defenses engaged 2 ballistic missiles and 3 drones launched by Iran. It was not clear if all were successfully intercepted. U.S. military posted a video of the 2 Iranian tankers as their smokestacks were struck by an American fighter jet on Friday. Earlier in the week, an American military jet shot out the rudder of a tanker the U.S. military said was attempting to breach its blockade. They're trying to just disable them. Late Thursday, the military said it thwarted an Iranian attack on 3 Navy ships in the Straits of Hormuz and struck Iranian military facilities in response. It said no American ships were hit. They threatened Americans. They're going to be blown up, Rubio told reporters on Friday. Iran's foreign ministry condemned what it called hostile U.S. military action, saying it violated the ceasefire. Every time a diplomatic solution is on the table, the U.S. opts for reckless military adventure. Yeah, this is an adventure for us. The Iranian foreign minister posted on X, we communicate on X, but we can't get a direct line to Iran. We have to go through back channels. U.S. strike overnight killed at least 1 sailor and injured 10 others aboard a cargo vessel that caught fire. News agency affiliated with Iran's judiciary reported it was not clear if the ship was one of the 2 tankers the U.S. acknowledged striking. The president has insisted the ceasefire is holding. He has reiterated threats to resume full-scale bombing if Iran doesn't accept an agreement to reopen the strait and roll back its program. I think enough is enough. Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said his country has been in contact with the U.S. and Iran day and night. They are the intermediary in all this, in an effort to extend ceasefire and reach a peace deal. There are images that show an apparent oil slick off the Iranian terminal. A big old mess in the Gulf. Okay, let's do this. Let's go to break. Tell HR. HR is on the phone. We'll hold. We'll pick up HR and wrap up the show, wrap up the week here on the Chad Hasty Show, 806-680-2790. Back in a moment.
The Chad Hasty Show can be heard all over West Texas. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Tune into News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO in Lubbock. News Talk 940 in Amarillo. News Talk 94.7 and 1470 KYYW in Abilene. And in Wichita Falls on News Talk 96.3 and 1290. The Chad Hasty Show. Make it a part of your drive home. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
When you see a car that's been in a bad crash, it's no accident. When it backs traffic up for miles, no accident. And if there's a fatality involved, somebody died. That's no accident either. A lot of the time, it was speeding. And it's no accident that speeding is a factor in more than 150,000 crashes every year in Texas, many of them fatal. So slow down, be safe, drive smart. A message from TxDOT.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Coming up on This Weekend, could Congress suspend the federal gas tax on fuel to lower gas prices? Hear how it would work. Also, the World Cup kicks off next month, but the U.S. is struggling to sell out its home opener in Los Angeles. We'll examine the reasons why. Plus, at what stage in life you might need a financial planner, and why Generation Z is combining pizza with church on Sunday. That and more on This Weekend. Saturday mornings at 5 on News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO.
The station bringing you the news and talk of West Texas for over 98 years. Lubbock's official weather station, News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO.
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.
I made him do it. I made him do it. He didn't want to. Got to throw a little Gangnam Style out there on Friday, Nick. Add a little spice to it. Welcome back. Oh, my goodness. If that doesn't get the blood pumping, I don't know what will. All right, enough of that. Let's go ahead and go to the phones. HR on the Chad Hasty Show. HR, how you doing this evening?
Hey, man, how you doing? You all right? I got a question. See if maybe you can answer it.
I might be able to.
What do you think the reason is that the state troopers are pulling the people over? The concert has been gone now for a little over a week, and they're still here pulling people over. Have you seen that?
Yeah, but it never. The concert, I think, was just what people thought the influx in state trooper presence was. I firmly believe it was to crack down on speeding. It was to crack down on drunk driving, and there was some information out there. I read a report. I didn't grab it around that time, but there was some press on that as to why they were actually here. And I think people said, well, it's because of the concert. It brought a lot of people from out of town. I don't think that really was the reason. I think there's just the Department of Public Safety is going out and assisting various areas and trying to crack down on speeding, trying to crack down on drunk driving and things like that. And I think it's probably the big reason. And there could be, we've got some joint task force, especially in Lubbock, that get together. It's comprised of local law enforcement, state law enforcement, and they crack down on drug trafficking and things like that. And so could be part of a larger operation. I don't know that for a fact, but I suspect, without having anything in front of me to reference on it, but that's probably what the reason is. HR, I really never thought it had anything to do with the concert.
Yeah, I saw the dominance of it during the concert, and then you would think that it would before the concert and during the concert, and now after the concert. On my way home, there's been 3 individuals been pulled over, and I thought maybe it might be because they're looking for the real ID, that you got to have to get on airplanes and stuff like that now. But I thought maybe you might have had some insights on it. That's why I thought I'd call and see what you thought about it.
I'll try to dig that article up over the weekend. Maybe we'll look at that next week. But I don't think it had anything to do with real ID. I mean, they're not going to pull you over just to do an ID check. That's not legal in the state of Texas. We don't have a stop and frisk law here, just to pull you over just for that purpose. Okay. But all right, but you're not wrong. There was a massive influx of state troopers presence in the hub city during that time. But anyway, HR, have a great weekend.
Right,
really
nice
good
to
to hear from you.
Yeah, you too. Have a blessed day. Bye bye.
Take care. Let's see, a couple texts. Eric says, funny that Nick invoked Big Mike in the conversation. It was because it was retaliation for the Gangnam Style. I've been trying to get Nick to play that for a year, and he wouldn't do it, and probably for a good reason. And a tribute. Thank you so much, 307. Tribute to Chad. Rest in peace, Chad. You were smart, funny, an excellent communicator. Thank you for the years of entertainment and information. You'll be greatly missed, from Lucas and Abilene. Thank you, Lucas. As I posted on Facebook, I rarely post on Facebook. As I posted on Facebook, Chad opened the door for me in broadcast radio. We didn't know what it was going to be at the time. It was, all good broadcasters generally will cultivate fill-in help. You want somebody to call when you're going on vacation so you can keep your show live. And it started out in Chad's morning show when he was on just on KFYO 8:30 to 11, but he also had a Saturday time slot. And so Chad and I were in a cigar group. We had a little cigar lounge called the Noah Guy Cigar Lounge. It was a members group. Still stay in touch with a lot of them today. It all kind of fell apart. We actually couldn't afford. We didn't have enough members to keep it going. But we all stayed in touch, and that kind of spun into a whiskey tasting club and things like that, and different social events. COVID destroyed all of it, by the way. But, just over a cigar one night, I had done some interviews and done a little radio with him in Republican politics, and he did some live remotes over at the Cigar Lounge one time, and I went on with him, and he just said, "Hey man, have you ever thought about it?" I said, I have. It'd be fun to kind of do a little bit of radio here and there. There's some things I'd like to try out and do it. He said, "Saturday's perfect, and do the show next Saturday." And what I thought was going to be let's plural, both of us, let's do the show next Saturday. And I show up at the studio. I'd been there before. And he had told me, this should have been my first clue. He had told me who the producer was going to be. I can't remember her name now, that used to produce that show on Saturdays. And, well, she'll be there, can let you in. Well, so I get it there, and I go over and I sit in the guest seat, the number 2 seat in the studio. And she said, "What are you doing? You're over here." I said, "Okay." That's when Chad's getting here. She said, "Chad's not coming." I said, "What do you mean Chad's not coming?" She's like, "Y'all know it's all you today. Good luck, big boy." And it was awkward because I had no sense of timing at the time. I didn't know, I had the clock in front of me, but I hadn't quite learned how to hit brakes and how to do that. And what do you do if you just run out of things to say? How do I get you to go? I didn't know all. It was just like, here, music starts, mic's up, and away we go. And it was a very bumpy ride for that. I think that was a 2-hour Saturday show. It was a bumpy ride. But it got better, and he coached me along the way, and Rob Schneider was a good, if you remember Rob Schneider and KFYO, coached me a lot. I owe a lot to both of them, and opened the door, and then that kind of morphed into this PM time slot, and then when Chad took this slot full-time, I became his prime fill-in, and I have enjoyed the last 10 years of broadcast radio with you. This is by no means a goodbye, folks. That's not what this is. This is just... I'm going to be back. Again, and in the 50 seconds I have left, we don't know what's happening yet, but I'm going to be back with you next week, and we're working on it. And so we're still hanging out. We're having fun together. The show's still going, and we're figuring out. And it's going to be, the intent is to stay live, to stay local, and for you to stay with us. I'm going to need a little more texting interaction from you in the future, but... we're working on some things, and we'll be able to tell you what's going to happen very, very soon. But I'm 99% sure Nick and I are going to be here with you Monday, and we're going to keep going, and we're just going to figure it out together. But a lot of things happening in the world, and we need to stay on live and local and keep the coverage. So, Chad Hasty Show on the Texas Town Square Media Network. Enjoyed being with you today. Always do. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to. See you next week.
The Chad Hasty Show, a presentation of Texas Town Square Media Network. The views and opinions expressed during the Chad Hasty Show are not necessarily the views of this station's staff, management, advertisers, or Town Square Media.